Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be having a look at the feature pack, which will be dropping for Guild Wars 2 tomorrow. This is the second feature pack, and there have been quite a few changes for the game. I want to talk you guys through them and hopefully go into a little bit more depth than ArenaNet themselves went into on their blog posts. You'll notice already straight away there has been a change on the UI up in the top right here next to my personal story section. This is actually a change we originally saw with the Chinese release of Guild Wars 2, and it does seem like a lot of the changes they've done with this feature pack have sort of been bringing those changes over to us. For example, there's an awful lot of back pieces and crafting and leveling changes that seem to have come from that sort of thing. And I guess I'll just talk to you guys through them. There have been a lot of changes. To see them all come in bulk is a lot more exciting than it seemed to be when we were just reading individual blog posts that described tiny little changes each go. So let's have a look first of all at our hero panel. This is already quite different. You'll notice there are a fair few new tabs that have been added. They're really starting to take advantage of this idea. Before the feature pack, all we had was equipment, wardrobe, and dyes. There are now 3 new ones here: outfits, minis, and finishers. We'll go through each one. Outfits, first of all, were originally found under wardrobe. You'd have to look at like a small slot that appeared to the right of your head slot here. Really didn't make that much sense. I know a conversation I've had a fair few times with people new to the game especially is, oh, what is an outfit? Where do I even find it? It was buried, right? So now it gets its own tab. If you click it, you'll find a list of all of the available outfits on the left, just like you'd find skins in your wardrobe, and you just click whichever one you want. Here you'll find your outfit slot, and you can toggle your outfit on or off. You can preview stuff just like you would anywhere else, and overall the feature is just a lot more convenient now. They have done something interesting, and this is to do with where the gem store is related to items in the game. They've added these flourishes to the icons, so you can see on the top left here there is a green icon with an exclamation mark, and it says when I hover over the executioner's outfit that this thing is available for purchase. They're doing this a lot now. Where the gem store is relevant, you will always know whether you can actually buy that item or not. So for example over here, the fancy winter outfit. This thing is only available during Winter's Day. It's not currently Winter's Day. You can't buy it, so there is no icon up there. However, these other ones, I don't think when the patch actually goes live these will all be available in the gem store. I think this is just taking the anniversary sales into account. But you'll notice these, it says, oh look, you can buy the Bloody Prince's outfit, you can buy the Mad King's outfit, and even up here with, for example, the ancestral outfit, it says you can buy it and it's on special sale. You will see this a lot. Some people might be negative about it and say, oh, this is just, you know, all they care about is money. I think it's interesting nonetheless and may make me a little bit more tempted to buy all of the outfits. We'll have to see whether I'm that much of a sucker though. Nothing really changed with the dye section, so you don't have to worry about that. Nothing really changed with equipment. Wardrobe, they did change some things. If you were, sorry, to go to your vault in your bank, you'd be able to type stuff out and filter a little bit better. We'll show you guys that in a second. But here's a very interesting one. I'm going to skip minis first. We're going to go to finishers. So, finishers originally appeared as a separate, like, major tab here, so we got our skills and traits and stuff, and there used to be one down here. Didn't make so much sense as having it in equipment, I guess, but they've completely overhauled the way this works. You can now preview any finisher before you own it, and without having to use kind of the rubbish gem store method, which really wasn't very good either. And it has its entire camera here, can you see? So we can click play here and it will replay the animation for us. Really cool. And the infrastructure here makes me very curious about what they're going to do for cutscenes and stuff maybe in the future for the game. But here once again we see this gem store interaction going on. You can see which ones are actually available for purchase. The Golem Pummeler was supposedly on sale here, and all these rank ones here are locked, and it tells you you can't buy this on the gem store. Instead you have to unlock it by earning various PvP ranks. This is really, really cool. And I presume, though I haven't seen, if you were to only have a limited number of finishers in use, can you see where this little padlock icon is? Instead, I suppose this would just have a number denoting how many times you get to use that. Great idea. You pick the finisher you want, and then you're done with it. So the last new section is the miniatures. This is probably one of the things I'm most excited about for the patch. Minis are now persistent elements of your character. So the mini tab works like this. Every single mini, they're no longer split into first edition, second edition, third edition, and special. They're just all slapped in there. Now, I think this is a bit of a shame. I would have still liked to have had them split into their own categories. We don't get them now. They're just a giant mess in here. I know when this goes over to live, it's going to be ridiculous for me to see. But basically, once you've bound a mini to your account as a part of your collection, it will appear appear in this list. So on this account, all I really had was the mini Ritlock, okay? And by clicking any mini, whether you own it or not, you actually get a special mini preview similar to the finishers, in which you can not only see it stood next to your character, get an idea for the scale of it, but you can even rotate it around and get a really good look at what this thing looks like with your character. I love the feeling I get from looking at this preview and considering the mini like a part of my look as a whole. I almost regret that it doesn't appear here with my equipment, but obviously they need the UI room up there. It's a really, really cool system, and of course the key thing about it, once again, is that minis are always with you. So if I choose, say, mini Ritlock, it's the only one I can have. Whether when I zone maps, for example, so right now in Guild Wars 2, if you guys were to try this, this wouldn't work. I would zone to, say, the Shaymore waypoint, and I'd have to re-equip my mini. My mini would be taking up a slot in my inventory, which is a hassle for some people, and you would constantly forget to re-equip it. If you die, for example, and then you waypoint to revive, you're going to lose your mini. It made them seem far less interesting. Well, now, pretty much every player is going to have a mini, unless there's some aesthetic decision they don't like about it, they want to RP some kind of a loner or something. You're not going to have a mini, but otherwise, everyone else is really going to like them. They're going to have a lot more value to them. Now, you can already see that they've spiked a lot on the trading post, and the fact that now you have to like bind minis to you. You can't just use them and then sell them whenever you like. It means that many minis are going to be leaving the economy. So if you want some of those rare ones, maybe start buying them now. But yeah, really, really cool system, and one that I'm certainly going to be enjoying. One thing I'm curious about is Runes of the Ranger currently in the game, which I use on my, like, high precision sets. These proc 7% extra damage for you because minis count as a companion. And I wonder now whether minis do that anymore, whether that coding's changed. You'll notice on your minimap it still appears as an ally running around with you. So I guess I'll just have to test at some point, or wait until somebody else tests it out. This is not all that has changed for the hero panel. Let's go have a look at the achievements. These have been seriously shuffled around. I cannot show you everything. There will be some insider knowledge here, I guess, like TP-wise you might want to pay attention to. But because many collections that are being added to the game do not reveal themselves until you've started the collection, I can't show you everything that's been added here, unfortunately. But let's have a look. First of all, under historical achievements, you'll notice there's a new section here called retired achievements. Now, the only one appearing here for me is hint completion. This doesn't mean hint completion is the only one in the game, I'm pretty sure. It just means on this account, this is the only one I had unlocked before the patch went through, in theory, and so it's the only one that's appearing here. This suggests to me that there's a bunch of old achievements, like generic ones, not related to festivals or Living World, that they're going to be getting rid of because they're just kind of stupid. And there's quite a few candidates for that, you must admit. Then you've got all the generic stuff we've seen before, all the old festivals that you've managed to participate in, and so forth. Now we've got competitive. This is a new section where they've basically bundled in together all the World vs. World stuff. So you've got the World vs. World tournament, you've got regular World vs. World, and you've got Edge of the Mists. Then they also put the TPVP stuff in here, and the activities. So it's weird that the semantic discussion you could get into here, that they've put activities under competitive when activities are also supposed to be, you know, a bit of casual fun. Does this suggest they might actually fix Kegel? Probably not, right? But this is where you're going to find all this stuff if they ever put new activities in the game. Basically, anything remotely PvP, they all go together now. It's kind of smart. One decision that I really disagree with is what they've done to General. So General is pretty much everything you currently know, right? So you've got the dry top stuff. Used to appear as a region of its own. Now it's just bundled in with Tyria and Fractals of the Mist. And Twilight Arbor Aetherpath is randomly here, amongst the Slayer and the Hero and the Tradesman, Weapon Master, Community, Hall of Monuments, Bosses, Triple Trouble, and it's just weird to me. They've slapped so many of them together. They've combined, what is this? Regions, General, Bosses, and some more, maybe? I don't know. I mean, it works under the heading of General, but it feels a bit more messy. The reason they've done this, though, is because they want less categories for people to have to sift through. There is a specific one for Story Journal, so this is Living World stuff we'll be going through here. Makes sense. And because they've called it Story Journal, it means if they ever do updates to the Story Journal that aren't necessarily qualified as Living World, it doesn't matter anyway, right? It's just the Story Journal. Then we have Daily and Monthly, which has always been there. But collections. So this is a totally new thing that we'll be doing after the feature pack. If you considered last feature pack was bringing content in the way of the wardrobe, like people would want to unlock a lot of skins, and so in a weird way that's giving us content. This again is along the similar lines, right? It's the kind of thing once we log in, it's like, what do we want to do? Probably you're going to be going for these things. So first we'll run through the basic collections and the rare collections. The principle behind this feature is that there are a lot of collections of items in Guild Wars 2, but there's currently no incentive, no reward to actually go out and find them all. And so this is potential content they could be encouraging people to engage with that they're not. So this feature pack is trying to remedy that. The most basic thing you can think of, first of all, is trash, right? Collect 51 junk items throughout Tyria, and you will get this achievement. This means you'll get a bunch of AP, you'll get a title called the Honorary Script, and you'll get a reward specifically for completing this collection. The collections tend to be quite rewarding. As achievements, you're always getting AP, but they tend to either give you a title or a real item along with them too. But something very cool that they've done with the UI here is, currently in Guild Wars 2, if you were to read this, collect 51 junk items, and it says I've got 7 out of 25. Oh, well, that's not very fun, is it? How am I actually going to feasibly have to go through that? You can't buy trash stuff on the trading post, so I'm sort of left with this daunting task of just killing random mobs and hoping that I get the trash item that they happen to drop, and hoping that that's not one of the 7 of 25 that I've already unlocked. Like, that's a big task. Well, they have addressed this, right? If I click Trash Collector, there's a whole bunch of new stuff that really holds your hand through how you get this achievement. So check it out. It shows all of the items we need. It shows us that we've already had an Ice Stone before. This applied retroactively on this account, as far as I'm aware. So it'll probably apply retroactively for the patch. Most of us will have this just instantly complete. But it shows us, right, we've got an Ice Stone. But look, you still need a Cold Stone. So from here I can go, you know, I can type /wiki in-game, Cold Stone, boom, there you go. I now know exactly where I need to get it. But as you can see, the general idea of this achievement is it's all of the trash items, the junk items that are out there in the game. You're just going to go out, get all of them, and once you have, you'll get a bunch of AP, Honorary Script, and this big bag of junk, which is mostly full of garbage, but hey, it wasn't a particularly difficult achievement as it stands anyway, right? Let's have a look at some of the other ones. This is Rare Regalia. This is unlock all 18 crafted rare armor skins in your wardrobe. So, again, this taps into the idea they're trying to encourage a bit more crafting as you're leveling, stuff like that. But you can click here and you can see, look, this is just all the generic skins you get as you craft. You want the heavy, you want the medium, you want the light. And your reward here is a lesser vision crystal as well as your AP. The next one is Hero of the People. Collect and open all 5 tiers of the Centaur, Flame Legion, Svanir, Nightmare Court, and Inquest Champion loot bags. So you notice these are the champ bags associated with like the evil factions of all of the races. But what's interesting here is it's not just get the exotic one, which frankly is all we care about, but it's get all of the lower tiers too. This encourages you to kill champions in lower level areas. Might be kind of hard to get the white ones now that they've removed all the champs from really early level zones, but we'll see. So that's kind of an interesting idea. The big reward here is a Champion Slayer's chest, which contains Obsi Shards, Dragonite, or Imperial Fragments, and a unique exotic weapon. You'll hear that term a lot, a unique exotic weapon. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't unlocked one of these. What does that mean? Does it mean it's an interesting skin, but you can get from somewhere else, or does it mean it's a totally unique skin? I think it could just be the totally unique skin, but we'll have to see once the patch goes live. Over here we've got Alpha Crafter, which is unlock all 36 fine and masterwork crafted armor skins in your wardrobe. Again, this is the kind of stuff you'll probably just get straight away as soon as the pack comes out if you're an established player. But you know, lots of basic skins here. 5 Ecto is your reward. Let's start flying through a bit quicker. Exotic stuff, so these are your exotic crafted skins. And a Regal Bag of Goods, Lesser Vision Crystal, Dark Matter, and Obsi Shards. Uncanny Crafter, collect all 11 jarred trinkets from vendors around Tyria. So this is a lot like the Spoon collection. As I say, many collections will exist that you cannot see on my list here. This is the last one, the Utility Utilizer. Use one of each of the 6 Utility Boost items, so these are the 3 vanilla ones, and then the 3 toxic ones after this, with a Utility Primer as a reward. I think that's a really cool, interesting reward that they've given us. But this one over here, right, this is everything we can see, and there are a lot more like this, where you have to go and collect all of the jars, as you can see here. The spoons was the example they gave on the blog post. A lot of people were ironically joking about. But you notice this stuff all basically comes from Karma vendors here. It can be a mix and match. The reward you get is a 20-slot bag for finding all of the jars in the game. And that's pretty cool to me. Like, it's an interesting reward and something that someone, you know, using an alt will actually really appreciate. So they did talk about the idea of the spoon collection that is hidden until you begin it. And in the blog post, they said that you had to go speak to a character in Lion's Arch. I'm actually going to go do that for you guys now if I can find him. And I'll demonstrate what it looks like when you unlock one of these new collections to appear in your tab. So I'll see you in a second. So here we go. This is like 2 seconds after I cut. You'll notice when you get into Lion's Arch after the patch, there is a new icon on the map called the Collections Instructor. You'll notice a fair few of these new icons. This guy we can interact with, and he'll say, greetings, you want to know more about collecting things, don't you? You can say okay, and he'll teach you basic things about the system. Or you can say, actually, I was wondering if you had anything for me. He said, I knew you had the Collector's Spirit, but do you have the Collector's Coin? So for 10 silver, you can buy a collectible spoon box from him. Now, this thing, I've still got a bunch of Living World crap in here. This thing says double click to consume, and it unlocks the spoon collection for you. So there we go. Collection unlocked. Now, if we go have a look at our collections, we go to basic collections. You'll see the spoons have appeared here. Collect all of the spoons of Tyria, open it up, and you'll find here are all the spoons, including an ascended spoon here. So as you can see, some of these are going to be coming from karma vendors. Sometimes you'll find things that come from drops, and sometimes it's even stuff like ascended trinkets. Over here you can see they've added a Siege Commander spoon. Totally new item that's been put in the game specifically for completing this kind of stuff. It means as you just travel, as you play the game, though there's no new areas to explore, you will constantly find you're getting new random weird stuff. And the reward here is a bag of Mentor supplies, a collection of items to aid in the training of novice adventurers. And so now when they add Living World things, they can give us new collections that we unlock by finding hidden NPCs and basically, in a weird way, go about on quests. Anyway, those are basic collections. Let's have a look at what the rare collections are like. Now, what you'll find in the rare collection section is stuff like if you've bought a Black Lion skin before, so say I bought a Chaos weapon, I got the Chaos Axe last patch, I would see here the Chaos collection, and it would say, right, well, you've got the first of these things, now you'll get a reward if you get all of them. I think some people might be a little bit disappointed when they hear that, say, the Slayerite weapons do have a collection that does exist, and these are limited skins that, as far as we're aware of, are never coming back, so I can only imagine how much the price is going to skyrocket on those. But everything from the Black Lion store, all those things, they will become collections. I don't blame them. Again, it's the kind of thing I think people might say, oh, this is a money grab, but really, they are collections. I want incentive to go out and get all of that specific set. I want to get all of the leyline weapons and so forth, and so I'm pretty happy with it. Let's have a look at what comes by default, though. So, along the same vein, Ambrite weapons, okay? You can see you need all of the Ambrite weapons. This will keep people in dry top for a long time. Ultimate reward, choose a piece of ascended armor. These are big rewards. Okay, that's a lot of gold, especially if you were to pick something like light armor. So, really cool idea. And another thing I never really mentioned with this new UI is you can just instantly click any of these items too, and if it's a weapon, if it's something previewable, it will treat it like the wardrobe, and it will just throw up a preview for you straight away. It's all getting quite intuitive. Like, you just think, oh, can I click this? I probably can, and it will just tell you what it is. So yeah, there you go. That's the Ambrite weapons. So over here we have one for getting all of the Ascended armor skins, and this one even comes with a title, Grand Artisan. So for me, when I log in, I'll immediately have the light stuff, but none of the other stuff. Ultimate reward, again, a unique exotic weapon. Now, for someone to unlock all of the Ascended armor, okay, that's a big deal. So you'd expect a big deal as a reward, right? So this is why I'm hoping that this unique exotic weapon is a part of a new skin set. I haven't really seen anything in the wardrobe. Further, we got Spirit Crafter. This is where things get very, very interesting, okay? Spirit Crafter is for getting all of these specific, like, Ghost of Ascalon weapons that can drop out of the Mystic Forge. These have been in here since the start of the game. There are various sets like this. So there's a set where you can get all of the Elementalist Conjure weapons, for example, as real weapons. Volcanus is the very popular greatsword, but you can get Mjolnir, which is the lightning hammer. You can get 2 different versions of the ice bow, as far as I'm aware. This seems exactly like the kind of thing you'd find in rare collections. You get Volcanus and you'll find the collection appears. But even better than this, even better than the fact these things that seem like they should be a collection actually are one, and that you will be rewarded for getting all of them, there is even a really awesome reward that's on theme with these items. So these are all very ghostly items. The reward here is a special back piece you won't get anywhere else, called the Spirit Smith, which you can select the stats on, is only of exotic quality, but it's a totally unique back piece that goes with these weapons if you're running them. Now, this doesn't mean that if I go and get all of the Elementalist Conjure weapons and complete that theoretical collection, I'll also get a unique back piece, but it's a really good start in my opinion, and if they keep rewarding us with stuff like this, I'm going to feel very cool making like a themed character that has all of these weapons and has the back piece too. That's pretty awesome. Even more crazy than that, we now have Treasure Hunter, which has a bizarre reward to it, the Enchanted Treasure Chest, which delivers an enchanted chest to your home instance that replenishes itself daily. So we have seen that they introduced the home portal stone for your home instance quite recently. This is more incentive for you to start going in there daily now. You can gather a bunch of stuff if you've been buying those things. You can charge your quartz if you've got the crate obelisk statue. But here there's a new daily chest. You can just open it for free once every day. I'm expecting it to be a lot like Gw2 in that it has an insanely wide loot table. You might get some really good stuff. You'll probably get trash most days. But this is cool. This is a reason to start going back to our home instance. Thing is, it's gated behind quite a long collection. This, to me, is as close as we're really going to get to, like, a solid quest. You're going to log in on Feature Pack, and you're going to decide, right, I want this for my home instance. And you're going to go through a bit of an adventure gathering all of these items. The description here is, in the end, the greatest treasure was an adventurous spirit. That or what's in the box, okay? So there's a lot of stuff you can get here. Some of it's very easy. Ancient Stone Summit Shoulder Spike, this Ancient Gw2 Runestone, okay? Like, the flavor text suggest that it's some really interesting thing, but this you can just buy from a Karma vendor in a very early area in Wayfarer Foothills, right? And you'll find a lot of this stuff's pretty easy stuff. But as we scroll down, it gets a little bit more interesting. Here's an Orion Pearl. This is from a level 75 area. And soon we find ourselves needing exotics. This here is a Pendant of Arar. I'm pretty sure this Pendant of Arar only comes from the Pushing to the Gates of Arar dynamic event chain in the Cursed Shore. And there's a lot of similar stuff here. Olgoth's Tail you only get from completing the world boss that spawns in Harathi Hinterlands. The Symbol of the Inquest could be Golem Mark II. Down here you'll see the All-Seeing. This comes from killing Lissa. You get it as a random drop from that chest in ore. And so now these things have very heavy value. I would expect that once the patch comes out, a lot of people are going to be wanting to buy these on the trading post. But now that they have value, it means whenever you run Lissa now, there's a bit of excitement actually opening that world boss chest, right? Because there's a chance you'll get the All-Seeing and it actually means something. This thing here, how many times have you got the Breath of Kraukatoric, honestly, and thought, wow, I got an exotic from killing the Shatter and it means nothing, and it almost feels like vendor trash. That's not going to happen in Guild Wars 2 anymore. Whenever there's one of these big world boss chests, because many of them are connected to this, I think this comes from the Claw of Jormag, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to add a bit more excitement to those chests. The rewards are going to feel a bit better. But moving on, that isn't the extent of it. There's even more stuff as we come down here. Totally new items in the game again, as I said before. This is the Burning Forest Crest, which is created by imbuing a superior rune of scavenging at the Burning Forest in Simurgh Timberland. This item only has value as a part of a collection. There are many items like this. Seems like there's a real scavenger hunt kind of theme going on, just like we saw with Gw2. Over here, there's a fractal box, right? There's just weird things. An Ascended Ring, a Royal Signet Ring of Doric. And down here, even, items you can only get from the Mystic Forge, the Infinite Wisdom, the Goblet of Kings, and the Mystic Artifact. Finally ending with Dessa's Experiment Journal. So I'll just mouse over all of these if you guys want to pause it to see before the patch goes out exactly what you're going to need. But yeah, this is a really interesting idea. This is probably what we'll be doing a lot of once the patch comes out. And I can imagine very easily, now that this system is in place, whenever we get a new Living World patch or a patch of any nature, Arena can just add new collection achievements and we go out on these big scavenger hunts. I wouldn't be surprised if Mordry could slot in here quite easily too. So yeah, that's collections, that's rare collections, that's everything that happened with the achievement panel, that's everything that happened here. Let's talk about some other changes now. Hopefully this video doesn't get too long. We do have the questing UI, so this basically functions as a compass. You can now get rid of the mini-map, basically, but then still comfortably look around and see where you need to go. If any of you have followed my channel, I've been trying to do like a level up challenge that I found really interesting, and this kind of breaks it in a way. But yeah, it will always guide you to where you need to go without even having to look at the mini-map or focus on that too much. Instead, you'll just be focused up here. Similarly, if you're not doing personal story stuff and you're instead just out in a map, it will guide you to the nearest point of interest, or it will guide you to the nearest heart vendors, and so forth. There have been many other changes to leveling up. I guess I won't show those off. Like, for example, the fact that if you make a level 1 and you go down, you don't go down state instantly anymore. You just die straight away. And then at level 5, you unlock down state. There's the fact that on your very first character on your account, you won't see PvP and World vs. World appear up here instantly. Instead, you'll basically unlock that visibility later on. Though you can still enter those game types if you like, just by traveling to Lion's Arch and going through those portals or using your hotkeys. Some people question that decision. I think it's kind of smart. It stops people getting overwhelmed with things to do early on and keeps them learning new things on their first character as they level. One thing I've got to say that I didn't think I would be, but I'm probably most excited about for this feature pack, is the new combat log. Nobody's been really talking about this. This thing is amazing. So this is my combat log, okay? And you'll notice immediately there are some differences. There are different coloured numbers. So here we have an orange number, here we have red numbers. I believe the red numbers are showing critical hits, while the orange numbers are showing regular hits. And when it tells you what ability you hit someone with, you can now mouse over it and it will treat it as though you're mousing over your skill bar. So it's showing you at a glance anything you could really need to know, which is very, very exciting. Further, they've added a lot more things that it can display and you can customize, okay? So, let me demonstrate this to you guys, right? This is just sort of generic combat tab, okay? I've just called it Combat 1. What we can do is we can go into our options, and now when it says Combat, you'll notice there's a little arrow here. If we click it, a bunch more stuff comes up, showing us the various things we can see in game. We can see all the incoming effects on us, so incoming damage, which was previously on the combat log, which we can toggle on, incoming interrupts, incoming healing, incoming buff damage, and even incoming mitigated damage. So by mitigated damage, what it means is if someone's about to hit you for 10,000 damage, but you block it, currently in game, there's no way to know that it was going to do 10,000 damage because a block appeared. It didn't appear in your combat log. Well, now it will say 10,000 damage, but it was mitigated, right? So you know that if you just dodge rolled some insane Ellie spike at a perfect time, you know how amazing that was for you. Or equally, you can select outgoing mitigated damage, and if someone just dodged your insane Ellie spike, you can feel terrible that they just evaded 20,000 damage because they random dodge rolled. But because you can set up different combat tabs, you can customize tabs to do different things. So here, I can just say, alright, look, I'm getting interrupted a lot in TPVP at the moment. I'm going to create a new tab. I'm going to specify everything as off, okay? We're not going to have it flash on unread messages. And over here, we're going to uncheck everything except for incoming interrupts. And in this way, then I'll go play my TPVP match. I'll go back to the main tab. And after I'm done, I can come and have a look, and it will tell me every time I got interrupted and what I was interrupted using. In theory, I haven't actually tested that out. But you can customize it in any way you like. You can say, okay, I'm playing like a staff bunky healing Ellie, right? So what I want to do instead of seeing incoming interrupts, I just want to see over the whole match, how much did I actually heal people? And then you can change your build and go back into another match and then have a look again, and you can compare. All right, so this time I actually feel like I healed a lot more. And it will give you information you otherwise would have found yourself hard-pressed to find. You'll be able to see that even though you're running on less healing power as a raw stat, because you have so many more skills or your rotations or whatever are different, you're healing a lot more, you're being a lot more effective. One thing I'm particularly curious about that I haven't tested, but I'll test here, is we'll go to combat and we'll turn in incoming damage, okay? We'll turn everything else off and see what happens when this centaur attacks me here. So, okay, yeah, that didn't work. What I was quite interested in is if I attack someone, I can mouse over it like a skill bar, right? And I can see, oh, here's the recharge and stuff. I was wondering if when an NPC attacked me, their stuff would appear mouse hoverable as well, so I could get like extra information. Like, say you're fighting subject Alpha in COE, and he uses his attack, you could see exactly what his cooldown is and stuff. But apparently that's not in there. Nonetheless, combat log, very interesting. I'm very excited about it. It'll be really easy to see exactly what your numbers were and where they came from. Anyway, I guess we'll leave it on the combat log there for today because we've been going for too long. There was some other stuff I wanted to show off. Maybe we can do that tomorrow, though. What I want to ask you guys is, if you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments what you want to see about the feature pack tomorrow. I can probably still put up another video where we show off some of these other things. So if you feel like I missed something, if you want more elaboration on something, leave it in the comments. I will read it and it will appear in tomorrow's video on the feature pack. Aside from that, thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you're excited about the update to come. And I guess I will see you tomorrow.